Giovanni, a very great segue into my other question, which is you mentioned risk management, right? And so with that new technology, especially in departments where there is a lot of data, there is a lot of regulations coming all the time, right? How do you think AI can really help those risk management people, those CROs, chief risk officers, into identifying and maybe managing some of those risks? Are there any maybe simple, low-hanging fruits people can do and CROs can easily roadwork, but action on?
Yes. If you're a CRO and you can already start using, and I'm sure that the good ones are already doing so, they can certainly use machine learning processes. They don't have to use generative AI itself. Generative AI, if you think about it, is a subset of deep learning methodologies, which is a branch of machine learning. If you define machine learning as simply the ability to solve an algorithm or an equation that is important, whatever that may be, you can see already how solving equations and could be of interest for a CRO. Automatically solving equations could be interest for anybody who works in risk management. So there's a lot of processes which are machine learning, which could be very easily automated in the process of using artificial intelligence and machine learning in various formats in that specific case. The simple cases are application, for example, data set analysis. Of course, we are very used to use data in the middle office for especially for large institutions with the trading capabilities, for example, or some managers with a lot of different assets that are going. So anything that using a spreadsheet can actually find it's some sort of usability of these algorithms. Other things is also in the more perhaps less appealing world of compliance, where there's a lot of information that needs to be analyzed. There as well, you can have generative AI specifically can provide summaries, but already machine learning processes can really support and help in identify obligations which may be not correctly fulfilled or finding certain errors as well within the compliance framework. There are some low-hanging fruits, as you say, and they are very clearly defined. There's another one which is coming up, I think is going to be very interesting, and it reflects a bit of the frequency trading that we've seen in the recent past. There's a study from the IMF which is suggesting that effectively, from their analysis, equity markets are the one which are most likely going to be using AI specifically. And the equity and derivative markets combined would actually be, according to their stats, almost 60% of the use of AI. And the reason is that they already can envision that being used for both trading activities and portfolio construction, which goes beyond robo advisory. We're talking about automated portfolio strategies composition. And in the same study, effectively, it is suggested that that may actually become a big risk for the market. And I can already foresee that the chief risk officer will need to be able to interpret how the algorithm is taking the positions. And so that also changes the framework of risk management that you usually have, because it's going to go even faster than high frequency algorithm. We can already see that the middle office will have to be able to intervene at a certain point. And the IMF, of course, has a view which is more systemic of this issue. But it was interesting to notice that's the first risk that they started talking about.
You've really touched on a very interesting point. The first one is everyone at the moment is talking about AI, thinking generative AI. But as you said, machine learning is still highly relevant, it's still highly useful. And if you look around the new POCs, it's about generative AI. But what has been and what is still being implemented concretely is mostly machine learning instead of generative AI. So when it comes to risk management, there is a very significant component which is about explainability and also the real time aspect of things. And those 2 points are going to be critical because as soon as you go into generative AI and high frequency, you still need to have the safeguards, you still need to be able to explain from a risk perspective how the algo are taking the positions or not. So it's going to be fascinating to see how all those things are going to evolve and keep evolving. At the moment, there is a disconnect between how fast the technology is evolving, how fast people think of the technology, and how fast regulation is also evolving. So we've got three things, and it might be going at different pace. And so that's why at the moment there is still a few unknowns.